Good morning, fellow travelers. We are in Kentucky. Made it here about a week ago now, just over a week. And man, it's been a whirlwind. We been spending a lot of time with family, getting to see the grandkids, hanging out. And in between then, I've been doing some testing on our solar system as far as the solar big beer batteries, the inverters, you know, what I can run, how long I can run certain things. And I've just been doing a little one-off testing, you know, as far as that goes. Right now I am disconnected off the grid power here at our campground. I'm really going to put the batteries to the test to see what, how long they last for one, what type of appliances and things I can run simultaneously. Man, it's early in the morning for me to say simultaneous. Wow. But I just wanted to share real quick also, you know, when we're here in Kentucky, we stay at a campground in Taylorsville, Kentucky. And, you know, we're here for about a week and a half. And before we head up to Alliance, but I wanted to show you all. That's our view in the mornings. Yep. No, not the hoop tote. But that's one of the things we love about Alliance is getting these big windows, and when you're at awesome spots, really getting to utilize them the way they were meant to, taking in awesome views. So this video is going to be about some tests that I ran while we were on the road, as far as how much solar I was getting while we were traveling on the road, you know, how much power we used for a one night overnight, and on the way here from Texas, as well as then what I've been able to run. And like I said before, you know, what I can and can't run just on the batteries. Not anything I can't run. I can run everything. So enjoy. Here comes the video.
Motivated travelers are set free on the road together, just you and me. With every mile our spirits soar. Motivated travelers always craving more.
Okay, everybody. So this first test we did here, as you can see from the timestamp right there at the top under local time, this is at 7:24 a.m. And this was the morning after we had just went on a 10.5-hour trip. So you see the remaining percentage there in the left side where it says 79%. That was after a 10.5-hour drive day and an overnight stay at a Harvest Host and getting up that morning to leave. We were only down to 79%. Now, that morning we were, obviously this is while I'm driving because we left at like 7 o'clock that morning to get back on the road. You can see there's 38 watts as far as the AC load, kind of fluctuating. And then the charger for the solar, we're getting very minimal because it was a foggy day that morning. It was raining. So we were hardly getting anything at all. But still, even in rain and everything else, I mean, you're pulling in a little bit there. So you can see there at the bottom left where it also shows time to go. You know, at that current rate at pulling in that little bit of solar and also using that little bit of AC load, it would have taken over 135 hours essentially for us to be completely drained. So that was pretty good. This was the beginning of another roughly 5-hour drive day. And I've got the next video here that kind of shows exactly where we picked up later in the afternoon once we started getting a little bit more sun. Not a ton more sun, but a little bit nonetheless. Started peeking through the clouds. So let's go straight to that one and we'll check that one out now. All right, so on this next one, you can see here now under local time, it is right before noon at 11:50. We are only using, as far as AC loads, about 61 watts but now major increase in what we're pulling in solar wise, just over 400. And you're going to see throughout this little clip that we're pulling anywhere from 400 and something to or 300 and actually 80 or 70 something all the way up to like 410, 416, something like that watts of power. What's great about this is obviously this is the best case scenario. You're pulling in power. You're able to use whatever load you've got in the RV as far as allowing the solar to cover that and be able to send power to your batteries to allow them to charge. So you can see here where it says 79%, right above that it says charging. It's going to fluctuate anywhere from the high 100 and somethings all the way up to 280 like you see right there. And that's going to basically be how much we're charging that the actual charger, solar charger, is pushing towards the battery, as well as trying to cover our AC load. Again, this is best case scenario that you're able to cover everything. And still, this is a cloudy day. We were driving through major rain between Jackson, Tennessee, and Taylorsville, Kentucky this entire day. This was over a course of roughly a 5 hour drive day, like I mentioned before. The other thing I did want to mention here, one of the great things about the Serbo GX and being able to use this Victron online app as far as being able to see the system is being able to add in your propane tanks. So you see there at the bottom it says left tank, right tank. That's just how I labeled them. Both the tanks are showing at 100%. And that was, I set those up to be at 100% so I wouldn't have to mess with that when I got back to Kentucky because I knew it was going to be extremely cold once we got up here to where we're currently at. So again, you see how it's really fluctuated. The solar charger giving us good amount of solar, and this is on the road while we're driving. I don't go any faster than 65 miles an hour, and it's just really great to see that. Again, we're getting that solar that we need to cover everything and still charge our batteries in an ideal situation. So next, we'll go to the next one, which I think is reviewing usage connected to the generator, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, so this test, what I wanted to do is really see how the system responded to me hooking up my 4,500 watt inverter champion generator. And I hadn't hooked it up to a generator yet, so this was the first time I was going to get to see how the system actually responded to that, if it was going to give me any errors. There's some cases where the system will kick off an error if your generator needs some type of service, whether it means like an oil change or some type of cleaning done to it. But in our case here, generator is good to go. You can see we're pulling in 161 watts there. AC load bounces around between 150 to 200 and something, and we're pulling in solar at the same time. So solar is essentially capping off, going towards the battery, and then some of it's still going to cover the AC load a little bit there. So generator worked great in this scenario, had no issues, and I'm pretty pleased with that. So especially when we're going to be off grid. So this test here, what I really wanted to do was just really letting it just run as normal. I'm not doing anything significant at this point. We were getting okay sun. This was a cloudy day, and you can see the sun for the solar charger there is kind of fluctuating anywhere from the low 300s to the, I think, low fours at some point. But mainly what I wanted to show here, the AC load isn't very much. What you're seeing here AC load wise is pretty average for us. This is with the TV running. Refrigerator is obviously on, but that's still connected to our 12 volt because we did leave our 12 volt in place. But also when it's like this, the batteries are still topping off our 12 volts. So it's still maintaining all of that. But what I wanted to mainly point out is you can see here at this current discharge rate, we would still last some 240 hours, which is essentially 10 days. So this is a great scenario because this is our average usage for cooler weather. You're not running any AC. So this was really good to see. All right. So what I decided I wanted to do here, you can see now this is just after 4 o'clock. I'm only down to 97% from a discharge rate and remaining battery percentage wise. What I wanted to do is really put it under some load. So you can see the AC loads just jumped up to just over 1100. This is an air fryer. And I wanted to show what it would look like because everyone nowadays either you warm things up in the microwave or you're cooking things in the air fryer. And I think the most it gets up here is maybe around 12 or 1300. watts as far as the AC load, but it kind of fluctuates as it's going. I let this obviously run. I was cooking some food, and it took about 13 minutes. Obviously, I just took a little snapshot of that here to show you all, but not pulling in very much watts from the solar. As you can see, the solar charger there at the bottom, only pulling in about 60 plus to 70 watts of solar. So this is mainly all battery. Now, with that being said, you see there, yeah, I'm at 97%, but if I was to continuously keep up at this rate, I would only have about 13 and a half hours of battery. Obviously, you're not going to be running anything for that period of time except for an air conditioner in the summer. Now, the reason I kind of emphasize that a little bit is truly one of our ACs runs at about 11 to 1200 watts when it kicks on. That would be similar to this view right here. It's too cool outside for me to actually kick the AC on, so I wanted to see how close I could get it. And the air fryer is pretty good example. So if you think about it from the standpoint, if you wanted to run an AC overnight and you were topped off at close to 100% before bed, this would get you through an entire night running an AC. And then the next morning, whether you have solar or whether you top it off with your generator, you're good to go. So this is a good example of how powerful these batteries are. Again, with the Big Beard batteries, they allow you to really go all night if you needed to run one AC, which would be our scenario. You know, we would just run the bedroom AC. And again, this was a continuous almost 1100 watts plus almost to 1200. Whereas with your AC is going to cycle. You know, you're going to have it run and it's going to kick off. So it may even last a little bit longer than that. You see the power drops on there because I'd opened it. I was kind of shaking up the food a little bit, turned it right back on, and boom, we're right back up to the over 1100 watts of power being pulled. So again, this was minimum solar being pulled in, all running up pretty much off the batteries here. And again, totally impressed with the way these batteries are handling all the loads I've been throwing at them. Nothing has phased them so far, and the system overall has been a major success with how it runs. All right, everybody, just finishing up some editing on this week's video. I think that's going to be it for our solar series. I think we've pretty much done a pretty decent deep dive of the ins and outs of what this Big Beard battery and Victron system can actually do. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Put it in the comments and let me know what you think. Also, like and subscribe. We don't do this and all this content that we put out. We don't really do this for any other purpose than we just like doing it. But it is cool to hear back from some of you all from time to time. So again, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you all think. And if there's something else you'd like to see, I'd be happy to put it out there for y'all. Thanks. Take care.